Welcome to Full Sports Press. I'm your host, Brian Hill. This is the sports show that wakes up his wife and forces her to watch highlights of a game she doesn't care about or understand. Yo, T, you gotta see the highlights of this game.
Get out of here, I'm sleeping.
All right, damn. Unlike the absolute dud that was Super Duper Wild Card Weekend, where every game was lopsided and basically a waste of time, the games of the divisional round played out like blockbuster movies. You had it all. The blue-collar underdog, the horror flick, the man out for revenge, and even the over-the-top action flick. So, with that said, we here at Full Sports Press thought it would be a good idea to give our take of the weekend's games through the lens of a movie buff. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the divisional round wrap-up movie review. We'll begin with the Bengals and Titans, which in our opinion played out like the fight between Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa in Rocky II. Let me start off by saying Ryan Tannehill, he's not Apollo Creed. I don't think that needs to be verbalized, but he's not. So, I mean, if anybody on offense is Apollo Creed, it's human fish / battering ram Derrick Henry. But in this particular case, we're not talking about anyone on offense. That's because the honor carrying the Creed name rests with not Michael B. Jordan, but with the Titans defense. Why, you ask? Because Joe Burrow represents Rocky's face. Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times by the Titans front. At some points, it was hard to watch. In fact, I think we have a clip just so you can get a sense of it.
Creed is starting to move in on Balboa. He's going for the knockout.
Now, I'm no boxing expert, but I can tell you that Rocky's greatest weakness has always been his inability to block or defend his face. Seems like a pretty important thing to be able to do. It's as if the man has had no boxing training whatsoever. And the same could be said for Cincinnati's offensive line regarding protecting Burrow. Based on their performance, you'd wonder if they had ever blocked for a QB in their lives, or if they even liked the guy. Throughout the game, Burrow, much like the mental stability of former Buc Antonio Brown, was under constant duress. But like Rocky, no matter how many times Burrow got jacked up, he came up swinging with the likes of his 2 friends, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Burrow showed that despite whatever lack of talent his O-line has, he can overcome it, just like Rocky. It also showed us what comedian Jim Brewer could have been if he didn't smoke all that weed. For our next game, we have the Packers versus the 49ers. A game with a character arc that's almost identical to the movie Law Abiding Citizen starring Gerald Butler and Jamie Foxx. It's a movie about a man who feels he's been wronged by the system. A talented man. A man of significant accomplishments. A man who thinks he's smarter than everyone else in the room. A man who will do and say anything to get the justice he believes he deserves. Am I talking about Gerald Butler's psychotic character Clyde Shelton, hell-bent on getting revenge against the justice system whose ineptitude led to the death of his family? Or am I talking about Aaron Rodgers, a man who got mad at his coaching staff because they drafted a QB with the 26th overall pick? You tell me. Rodgers' offseason was littered with stories of a disgruntled and wrong star. A star who was threatening to blow shit up just to prove that the system sucks. And he did once the season started. He tore up the league with his usual flair and high-level arm talent. But he also lost sympathy along the way after it was revealed that he misled the public about his vaccination status. Just like Butler's character, Rodgers quickly became the villain in his revenge story. And after all the impressive theatrics, he was defeated by a meh character. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me some Jamie Foxx, but his character is basically just along for the ride. Which brings us to Jimmy, why won't anybody love me Garoppolo? A man who, despite his good looks, winning playoff record, and porn star dating habits, struggles to inspire confidence in anyone. And even though Fox and Garoppolo survive, the story is about a man so consumed by grudges that he tarnishes both his message and his own legacy along the way. Now tell me, that ain't Aaron Rodgers. Moving on, we have the Bucs and the Rams, the movie Jaws. Let me set the scene. A newly appointed sheriff joins forces with a nerdy but capable marine biologist and an eccentric boat captain to take down a man-eating beast that has been terrorizing the waters of the NFL for the last 22 years. Tom Brady, a seemingly unkillable mythological creature. At first, things are looking pretty good. They've shot 3 barrels into the beast and gotten themselves a big lead. They're feeling comfortable and begin to take their foot off the gas, maybe even show each other their scars and sing songs about Spanish prostitutes, when suddenly the monster begins to chip away at the lead by methodically eating their boat. They do their best to kill the damn thing and to stay afloat, but the goddamn beast just won't die. Now things are looking bleak. Their boat has been destroyed, and whatever advantage they have is gone. Now they're just there, afloat, with one bullet in the chamber. And that's when it happens. Sinking into the water, with all hope lost, Stafford pulls the trigger one final time.
Smile, you son of a...
And with that, Brady sinks into the darkness that is the offseason, hopefully to never be seen again. Last but not least, we arrive at Chiefs-Bills, a game that will go down in history as one of the greatest games of all time. So what movie could possibly represent such drama? What movie could capture the star power and over-the-top playmaking of an instant classic? Well, when I'm looking for heart-pounding, out-of-your-seat action that says you to the laws of physics, I can think of one movie franchise and one movie franchise alone: Fast and Furious. Let me take you for a ride. Have you ever seen a muscle-bound man use a Ford Mustang as an anchor for a tank that's causing havoc on a 400-foot highway, only to have his amnesia-riddled girlfriend riding on top of that tank just as it's about to feel the yank of the anchor? So he, while traveling at over 100 miles per hour, straddles the side of his car to purposely crash it into a guardrail so that he can leap over a 50-foot gap, catch his girlfriend midair, and land unscathed into a car windshield as if it was a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Well, that's basically what happened when Josh Allen drove his team 75 yards down the field to score the go-ahead touchdown with only 13 seconds left in the game. Now, what about this? Have you ever seen a man who, while being shot at by a number of military helicopters, drives off a cliff, somehow hitting and latching onto a shattered remnants of a cable bridge with the express intent of using the detached cable as a grappling hook to slingshot himself over the canyon, where he lands with relative grace and zero shit in his pants? Well, that's what basically happened when Patrick Mahomes drove his team into a field goal position with only 13 seconds left on the clock. Both of these players did things you'd only see in action movies. And not any action movie, only an action movie where the main character can take on a nuclear sub with a muscle car and win easily. So watching Mahomes and Allen duke it out on Sunday is a gift for the eyes, just like every ridiculous action sequence in the Fast and the Furious. And just like the franchise, hopefully there will be another 10,000 of these. That's all for this episode of Full Sports Press. Be sure to like and subscribe because it's the polite thing to do. If you want to be a jerk, go ahead. That's on you, I guess. And maybe if you don't, maybe I'll call Grayson Allen. I'm sure he's got time to trip you or hurt you in some way. He's been doing it for years. Why not you? Why not you?